is faster than the speed of sound. At an early age he wanted to get out, to pursue adventures all around. Things got tough sometimes, but it's all good, cause Tails is his best friend. He's always there for him, he's his sidekick. Through bad and good times over and over again. What to see is what to get. Just a guy that loves adventures. It's Sonic the Hedgehog.
Welcome back to the IDW Sonic Rundown. Welcome, guys. It's been a while, and look, we are back to sort of do a little bit of a cleanup after the Phantom Rider saga. And as great and as solid as that saga was, we got to do a little bit of a work through, because a lot of the comics that we have here are not super connected to each other, but we do end off with a banger. I will say that.
A lot of it is mostly just developmental stuff, which is good because it's a lot of character development stuff and a lot of interaction between characters in interesting ways. There's one issue in particular that is particularly gruesome, very fun. And honestly, most of it is pretty good. I enjoyed reading most of these. They're all really good. So I guess we should start with our very first comic, which is the IDW Sonic Annual 2024. This is actually a very important comic because it lays the groundwork for a lot of what's coming up. On top of that, there's also a section of this annual which is fucking crazy. They finally decided to drop the lore nuke on us. It's pretty great.
It's gonna be we're kind of like on the line, if you catch my drift, but you'll see what we mean when we get there. So our first story, there's a set of 3 stories that are just building up on certain characters. So the first story focuses on Surge and Kit, more particularly Surge, written by Ian Flynn and art by Thomas Roethlisberger. So we open in downtown Westopolis. Keep in mind, this came out during the Year of Shadow, so them setting it in Westopolis is very on the nose.
Well, of course, bro. It's we can't have Shadow in the game. We can't have Westopolis in the game, but we can put it in the comics. Smile.
So in downtown Westopolis, a trolley car's brakes were cut, leaving Surge and Kit having to chase it down. Surge leaves it to Kit, telling him to grab it with his water tentacles, but ends up being dragged with it. You had one job, buddy, and notices down the street the trolley is going to collide with a Chow marching band crossing the street. This is very on the nose.
Yeah, I mean, they really had to up the ante here.
I mean, it just kind of feels like Looney Tunes shit, honestly.
Well, it is Looney Tunes adjacent, you know?
Yeah. Deciding the delicate approach is boring anyway, Surge rushes to the car, bashes its side, and derailing it, with Kit being able to yank it down to its side. Kit begins to pull people out of the car as Surge takes a bow on the trolley, expecting a hero's praise. But instead, she gets whiplashed, concussed people, and one guy says he got a broken wrist because of her. Oh, you want a broken neck to go with it? Surge, babe, that's not how we do things here. You gotta calm down.
Nah, man, that's how she does it. She's cooking, you know?
They also say everyone in there could have been crippled because of her, as Surge says, well, you could have jumped and saved yourself. That is actually a much more important line than you guys really think it is. I want you guys to keep that in the back of your head whenever you see Surge, okay? I just want you to get that in your mind. Guy's friend tells her not to mind. We're all rattled and they go off to see a doctor. And as they leave, they comment on how fast she was moving, but still, she is no Sonic the Hedgehog, obviously, which of course pisses her off.
Yeah, mental collapse. Sonic, bro, why you trying not to laugh, bro? It's disrespectful as shit, bro. Anyways, later, I guess Surge and Kit have found an apartment of some kind, which is interesting, you know, that they found a place for themselves to live.
Well, actually, I'm pretty sure that this is still Restoration HQ. This is before I think this is just before the Phantom Rider arc.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure I forgot to mention about all these stories that they are all set at different times. This story is set before issue 75. The next story is set, I think, after issue 83. I think.
I have no clue. Nobody knows right now. I honestly could not tell if this was Restoration HQ or not because it looked like an apartment. So, you know.
Wherever they are, they have an apartment. Surge is just bouncing a ball around the room as Kit comes back with some food. Surge is pissed, not at anyone in particular, but admits to something to Kit. She thinks ultimately Starline was right. And Kit is shocked to hear her say that and asks, what do you mean? Oh, the whole Sonic cycle thing. Eggman causes problems, Sonic stops him, everyone celebrates, rinse, repeat. It's really interesting how Ian decided to make a joke out of that, and now it's a core principle of the franchise.
I mean, it's, but like one could argue that it's not necessarily like Ian making a joke. It's just that Ian pushed it into the forefront. I mean, have we not been saying this whole time that Sonic's, one of the core themes of IDW is that Sonic's credo and moral status in the face of increasingly more ridiculous odds continues to in some way backfire on him? And the cycle, as it was presented by Starline, was them putting the idea out there formally that Sonic continues to do this and it keeps causing problems for everyone.
I mean, true, very true. You know, look what happened with Restoration HQ. So it is after. All right, I misspoke. But I'm pretty sure this is still around issue 75, immediately after then. Anyway, Restoration HQ. They had to carry those idiots out. They had legs. They could have saved themselves. They're morons. Every last one of them. But at the same time, yeah, they're all weak and lame and stupid. They're not bad people. I mean, I guess...
Okay, pause. It directly says this took place after issue 75. You said it took place before.
I misread. I can't read.
Yeah, it's fine. So yes, they are in an apartment building. And yes, you know... I think it's interesting that Surge has come to the conclusion that they're not bad people. The worldview has dramatically shifted from, oh, we just gotta kill Sonic, to, wait, maybe we gotta help people, to, hey man, maybe we don't gotta help people for praise, but we gotta help people because it's the right thing to do, ?
Mm-hmm. But again, also there is this sort of interesting wrinkle to it that Surge sees people as ultimately helpless. Like, they really can't help themselves. Which, I mean, look, I'm sure that is a very common mindset just in general. But it's more complicated than they can help themselves. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, I also think it's interesting that, like, you know, her view essentially is that because of her own trauma, it's like, yeah, the people around us literally can't do anything 90% of the time, right?
Of course. And, yeah, they can't do anything, but Kit then asks Sonic and Tails, what do we do about that? Well, Surge wants to end Sonic first chance she gets. Call it an accident, maybe I don't bother, we'll see what happens. But as for Tails, do you still want him gone? And you can kind of tell Kit has like an arrow going through his heart, saying he's a liar, I hate him. Okay, yeah, you can take Tails down, as a treat. Otherwise, we ruin Eggman's plans. Every chance we get, we soak up the hero worship, and we'll love them for loving us, and they'll love us for loving them. But then what about Eggman? What happens when we finish him off? Kid asked. Well, I didn't think that far. We'll burn that bridge or whatever when we get to it. But Kid thinks to himself that if Eggman's not around, no one will cause problems. Therefore, no one will praise Surge. I can't allow that to happen. However, she does want to help people for real. So if I make peril for her to overcome, people will praise her. I remain useful to her. She remains happy. Only the idiot masses suffer. It's perfect. So a creepy smile on his face. Surge takes that as he agrees with her plan, and he does. Sees how it can work for her and how he can work for her. It's a good plan. So Surge declares herself and Kit as the world's new heroes. We're taking over whether you like it or not. Oh boy.
Oh boy. Yeah, this has added a lot of interesting wrinkles to the dynamic. You know, Surge getting a taste of the hero's welcome and now is kind of starting to realize that maybe she should try her hand at being a hero. Meanwhile, Kid has completely warped the situation into, aha, I will cause problems on purpose to make sure that Surge is happy and therefore I am useful. It's like, damn, bro. We are looking at this in the worst possible way.
It's very disturbing. I mean, look. To sort of make a twist and a warp on the Sonic Tails nature of the relationship, this is a very good example of it. On top of that, it does kind of show the difference between these two characters of Surge is genuinely having a change of heart, but Kit is still stuck to his Starline programming.
I mean, I would go further and say that it isn't even a Starline programming thing. It's because of the fact that Kit is inherently designed to be so codependent that, like, it doesn't matter what's happening. That will override everything. So he feels that because he has to be codependent, he has to do all of these different individual things to make sure Surge gets what she wants, right? Again, it's like a fucked up inverted version of Sonic and Tails, but they're really trying to push this idea that Surge is starting to, like, really turn, but Kit is in his own world believing a very different idea of what needs to be done. And I think it would be really interesting if Surge starts to realize what's going on and eventually directly confronts Kit and is just like, what the fuck are you doing? How long have you been doing this? And the two get into a big fight. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. I think it's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back moment where the two confront each other, and it's going to be a lot of different things going on there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, hey, look, maybe this conversation is a bit further ahead here, but, like, they really are hyping up issue 100, so maybe that's going to be part of the overarching story there.
Yeah, I have no clue what issue 100 is going to entail when we get there, but it's very clear that there is some shit to this that they are clearly setting up, and I mean, we've said it before, the Surge and Kit are some of the most interesting parts of this comic, and I feel like every twist they take with the characters continues to allow them to be interesting. I'm really impressed at how they've been able to handle these two, and I really hope that the writing continues to be stellar for them, because they are absolutely standouts in this comic.
Absolutely. Without further ado, the B story, written by Ismail Omar Atta and art by Thomas, focuses on Knuckles. We have not seen Knuckles in quite some time in this comic. A lot of that has to do with how Sega wants to present Knuckles, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Either way, I can tell you for sure, this comic does take place, like, around issue 80. I think it's supposed to be before it, but the way it's set up feels like it's meant to be after issue 83, and you'll see what I mean when we finish it. So we open at the Master Emerald altar. Knuckles looks up into the starry night sky. Another peaceful day has passed. No petty thieves, no evil doctors, just me, the emerald, and the sky. And he lies down in the grass, big yawn, wondering what Sonic and the gang are up to now. Probably running around some completely unexpected adventure all together. But he sees out of the corner of his eye, the Master Emerald begins to shine, and as if it's going to show him something, and he accepts it and closes his eyes. And Knuckles has a vision of himself encased within the Master Emerald, showing visions of his past adventures with Sonic, Tails, and Amy, fighting with Rouge for the Master Emerald pieces, and his time with the Chaotix. I think that's specifically supposed to be Knuckles' Chaotix, right?
I mean, I assume so, yes, in some fashion, because I think that's really the only time they all interact. In this canon, not in the old canon.
Knuckles thinks, even if his life isn't as wild and free as Sonic's, I've still had my own fair share of adventures, and there's still plenty of good things out here. Even if I'm the last of my people, I'm on the island by myself, it's because of my duty and the need to protect the world that I still treasure each day. And then he sees a figure made of light, shaped like himself, wondering if there was a me out there without the Master Emerald, without any purpose, or without any friends. I'd feel bad for him. And one last flash of Sonic, Knuckles feels thankful for the destiny that led him here. And then he wakes up, seeing the Master Emerald, and thanks it for everything, because without, he'd have nothing.
Which then Sonic says, wow, I thought you'd never say it. Panel is great, by the way, as Knuckles is having a, oh, fuck, holy shit, what's going on? As Sonic is just standing there, just, like, hitting the alone on a Friday night type pose. And he's like, yeah, bitch, it's me, you know it.
I wasn't talking to you. And get off the Master Emerald. But you were thinking of me, weren't you? I would never think about anything. Do you even know what you're saying? I don't know. Yeah, no surprise there. Sonic, buddy, come on. Is that how you say hello?
I mean, come on. It's a good bit.
So then Tails and Amy come in, saying that's enough banter between the both of them. Knuckles asks if something happened for all of them to be here, and Amy asks, well, come on, does something have to happen in order to visit our good friend? And Tails adds, like, yeah, we just wanted to make sure that you were, not getting too lonely up here. And guess what? It was all Sonic's idea, and it's a good thing we came too, since Knuckles was daydreaming about our beautiful friendship. They came a little late, though, as they got, little sidetracked as they see the tornado badly damaged, wings clip, and the engine sputtering. Were you brought here by some completely unexpected adventure happening on the way here? Well, how could you tell? Knuckles knows them, us, well enough by now, so tell me all about it. And they all sit down in front of the Master Emerald as Tails begins to explain how it all happened this morning.
Yep, so this is where they recount the story of what happens within, I think he said 80 to 83?
I believe so, yeah. I mean, the weird thing is that Amy's not part of that story, but that's a little hiccup that I don't know if, Atta didn't really get the memo on, because I'm not gonna lie, considering that it's Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Knuckles, this kind of feels like what happened immediately before Frontiers, Well,
the problem is that, how the fuck are they supposed to repair the goddamn fucking tornado in a short amount of time? Hey man, look, all I'm gonna say is it feels like there should have been just a tad bit more context, right? But we're not getting that right now. Anyways, good story. I like it. I like that we get some Knuckles introspection. Very funny that the Master Emerald interacts with him. Unfortunately, every time something like this happens, I am triggered to flashbacks, even though they are not intentional flashbacks. Also, we have it's funny we talk about Archie, because we cooked something pretty diabolical. And we'll show it to you. We'll show it to you guys eventually.
It's out there. I put it on the Patreon, and it's on my Twitter. It's out there. Anyway, the point is that the narrative will forever be haunted, and we can never escape. But with that aside, that's the Knuckles bit done. The next one is a lot longer, because it focuses on Mimic, and it's supposed to be the last key part of Mimic's story that we never really got to see.
I'm gonna be honest here. When we said it was towing the line, we really do mean that. This is an extremely, almost Archie-esque, breakdown lore nuke that really goes deep into Mimic as a character. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's fan-fucking-tastic. Because it paints him in a much different, yet more similar but very different light about who he is and his actions. This was very welcome, and I hope maybe we get more of these for specific characters, because I like when we get all of this information and knowledge.
Yeah, this is a very, very interesting deep dive. On top of that, this story was written by Gigi Detree, and art was done by them and Mauro Fonseca. To start, in the woods, Tangle, Lanolin, Whisper are waiting on Sonic. Lanolin tells Tangle to be patient. Sonic's on the way, and that hasn't changed since you asked 5 minutes ago. But little do they all know, they're being stalked and spied on by Mimic. As he's monologuing to himself, asking, "Who are you? What is an identity? A collection of traits absorbed by others? Perhaps you too are a doll, ready to be made. Who's to say? We all wear a porcelain facade, and only I am brave enough to embrace it." And then we go into the deep, deep backstory of this character. Before Mimic was a mercenary, he was an aspiring actor, but could only ever land minor or background roles, using his transforming ability as an attempt to stand out. And in his words, his colleagues were not keen on sharing the spotlight. In reality, that means he would just copy the leading actor and try to overtake their role. And in this last attempt, this was just before Eggman's invasion on the planet. And right then, an army of egg pawns tore into the building, shooting randomly into the crowd, with Mimic surviving by transforming into an egg pawn and just hiding in the crowd. So Mimic moved around the world pretty aimlessly. And in doing so, he noticed something. In the shelters, groups of people would pitifully try to fight back against the machinery, and again, he felt this nagging ache to be noticed and to belong. He joined various teams over the war, but with each team he joined, he learned it was foolish to value the lives of your teammates over your own survival, showing him time and again upstaging or outright betraying and abandoning multiple teams. And he moans how despite how rare his skills were, they were never really appreciated. Really, everyone is playing a character, never taking their concerns seriously. It's all just a mask. How could I be the only one to see through it? Yeah, he really was an actor, definitely.
Yeah, I really love that he's really self-monologuing this deep introspection, but it is all coming to this very clear picture that Mimic is both a narcissist and a sociopath. He views himself as so much greater than everyone else around him. And more importantly, his idea of the true self, the mask that one wears, is also very reminiscent of something. I'm just reminded of Persona when I read this dialogue, but you know what? That's okay. That's okay.
I mean, it's just the exact wording he's using of like facade and masks. Honestly, I'd rather stick to more like Knights than Persona.
I guess. But regardless, the idea, right, is that Mimic views people as rehearsing constantly. The idea of self-performativeness, the idea that people themselves are not inherently people, they are just another actor on stage. You act in order to fulfill your role and fulfill the situation's best needs. That's why he's a narcissist, and that's why he's a sociopath. He doesn't view people as people. He discovers something during the war, and that's everyone has a little bit of emptiness inside of them. We all utilize activities like the arts or playing hero as a way to cover the void within, as if it's something to be ashamed of. Yearning for others, wanting to be seen, it's a childish way to cover up my own empty void when I shouldn't hide it. Is being nothing the truest version of... And then he's cut off.
Well, he transforms from an egg pawn into his original form to eat a ration bar and is startled by Whisper and her Wisp Orange saying that they are going to love this. She explains she's part of a team called the Diamond Cutters. We're a for-hire team that's dedicated to attacking Eggman building. Our building's actually not that far from here. And Mimic is intrigued that they have their own building, and Whisper says, oh yeah, we're the best, but we are lacking in stealth. Are you a good actor, though? Mimic then demonstrates, transforming into Whisper, saying with a big smile he's good enough to fool a whole Eggman battalion. And Whisper, very cute. Big starry eyes, her mouth a whole circle, little fangs. It's adorable. Very cute.
Yeah, Whisper pre-incident being so jolly and upbeat. This is not her, bro. This is so weird to see.
Yeah, well... Whisper brings them back to their base. If you have not forgotten, their base is literally just Big Shell, but aside that. Introduces him to the rest of the team, still in his Whisper disguise. And Mimic recounts how he barely remembers the people he worked with as an actor, let alone his first teammates, but the Diamond Cutters. Whisper, Slinger, Clairvoyance, and Smithy, they're imprinted into his essence, no matter how hard I tried to remove their stain. Again, another good way to frame it from his perspective.
Yeah, it's like he views these interpersonal connections and relationships as nothing more than like a means to an end, and he feels like they're dirt on his body or like stains on his clothes, which is like, again, it really leads into the sociopath angle. It's really cool.
Diamond Cutters are shocked to see someone like Mimic who can transform and instantly welcome him to the team. Smithy comments how their base is their reward for taking on the big risky jobs where no one wants to do. War is great for business, Slinger says haphazardly. And on topic of rewards, Mimic does like the sound of that. So, they give him his own room, an upgraded wardrobe, luxuries even before the war. In the first few missions, he was a vital role in their victory, and didn't need their direct help. But that all changed one night. Mimic tried to infiltrate a base as an egg pawn, but his arrogance got him detected, declaring him a defect to be eliminated, and he was shot in the back and about to be crushed by an egg hammer, leaving his team having to come in to rescue. Whisper tells him to go beyond the egg guard and deactivate the fleet. The rest will cover. Thus, the Diamond Cutters go on the offensive, guns blazing on the entire base, and within minutes, the robots are all destroyed and disabled after Mimic did his part. Smithy and Slinger moan how they were just getting started, but Claire gets a vision, an entire platoon coming to the base, and they don't know we just decimated their friends. Whisper offers to blow them up, as Smithy comments that that's a little bit more bloodthirsty than she normally is. Little odd, but Mimic has another idea. He transforms into Eggman and marches right up to the platoon, telling them this is the wrong outpost. The pawns don't understand, but he insists, I, Eggman, am right here, and I am telling you turn around and leave. And they do so, his team coming behind him to heap praise onto him, which clearly unnerves him. And in the present, he says that this is a dangerous memory.
I think what makes it even more interesting is the fact that there's these tiny little blush lines. He actually feels an emotion. He feels something positive. And it scares him.
It's like, oh wow, True, genuine connection. What's wrong, hippie boy? Afraid of a little community and respect? I don't know.
Truly. No, but I mean, again, it's just interesting. But let's keep going.
One night, they're camping at the mainland, recounting the previous mission, but Smithy tells his intent of bringing them out here. Despite their success, it's been hard to share their portfolio with the Resistance or other rebel groups. Plus, Eggman's facial recognition is getting better, so he has a solution. He presents them with their face masks, metal concealers that record everything, project, and more. Plus, it's Badnik and Eggman proof, and they're very comfortable. Everyone gets their own as Smithy goes on how before the war, he was an engineer and he just loved working on math equations. Each of you are millions of little mathematical equations that when solved, create this astounding team. It just feels right. And these masks are more than just to protect ourselves. When we're out there, we are one. A unit stopping the Eggman Empire, one tower at a time. Claire asks if after the war, why don't we just stay together? Be our own faction like the Resistance. And then, when Whisper speaks up, Mimic, recounting the memory, says not to speak. And then she begins. Smithy, you are the smartest, biggest teddy bear I've ever met. Claire, you always keep an eye out for everyone here. Slinger, you're hilarious. Wow, okay, girl. Damn. Mimic. It makes me feel better when you're out there watching our backs. Thank you for making this team complete. And they all cheer for the Diamond Cutters. And thus, Mimic finally got what he thought he wanted.
Yes, exactly. Did I just crave validation? Was it ever about the spotlight? He says before, in inner monologue before saying, these are beautiful gifts, Smithy. I need to search my legs for a bit. Save my rations. And he walks up and leaves. I can't be myself around them. They don't know what I've done. Friendship is supposed to feel good, solid, like a foundation. And then in an insane panel, really detailed as he's walking into the water, he's holding his heart and saying, so why does it hurt so much? They don't see I'm a walking contradiction. One look, he stutters in this instance, past my facade, and I'll be thrown away. I can't afford to be so fragile. I look back at my aching days with a soul-wrenching truth staring back at me. The more things change, the more they stay the same. It's a rehearsed charade. They are all mirrors saying what I want to hear until they get what they want. They can't be trusted. I refuse to play this game anymore. We watch somebody literally taken this very special moment and he turns it into they're just pretending. They don't care about me. They've never cared about me. They're just using me to get what they want. He has warped the situation in his mind because he feels that because of the things he's done, he's not able to have friends. He's so self-obsessed and so in his own head that he believes that this is not something that is natural, when it is in fact the most natural thing that could have happened to this guy.
Yeah, it's
dude.
He truly does refuse to just be happy, and you know what, man? This is very real because there are so many people, and I'm sure all of us know at least one person like this that is just so self-destructed that refuses to let themselves be happy and let themselves have a good thing, and even recognize that, you know what? Maybe you've done wrong things in the past, but that doesn't mean that you can't change or be better. That doesn't mean you don't deserve to experience good things in this life. Come on, snap out of it. But he won't snap out of it because no one's ever, really smacked him around enough to tell him that you don't need to be like this, man. But perhaps, just perhaps, that's even in those circumstances, that's not going to help.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, again, this has been something that's so intriguing that they really, hammer home. Is that, he's not a soulless monster, but he's, destructive. He's self-destructive, and he keeps doing it. The moment an opportunity to be rid of these nuisances came, I readily took it. The Diamond Cutters would be gone from both this world and mine. I could clear my mind and never feel such visceral pain from their fake smiles. Attachment was erased like weeds pulled from a garden as they perished. The pain inside nearly vanished. A good sign for my healing journey? Holy shit, man.
Wow, man.
Yet there was a single terribly annoying headache left to deal with. I can't fix what that team did to me until I shatter every last one. Only with this knife, as we cut back to the present, Mimic holding his knife, ready to kill, will I finally be cleansed. He throws a rock onto a tree branch. Everyone looks towards it, and just before the killing blow, sorry for the wait, gang, as Sonic rushes in with Tails, and Mimic flees once more.
And, you know, they have a little talk, how they fought Badix along the way. Tango says she could have helped, but Sonic adds there'll be plenty at the Eggperial City. And the team leaves quickly. Mimic left behind, saying that he can't think straight tonight. What's the point of reflecting on all these memories? Am I afraid, or am I just tired? Soon that pain deep within myself will be washed away, and this can be one big bad dream. I'm selfish, arrogant, colder than a frozen lake. I enjoy the chase, watching others struggle, and I love that about me. I know what I am. So, who are you? Well, I mean, that's a very, interesting way to leave it off as, because he, weirdly enough, does embrace all of the negative qualities about himself, even though he's failed to recognize the real point of the story, which is that he is capable of turning it all around. He just does not desire to do so.
You know, it's funny. We have so many instances in this comic where we watch characters ping pong between morality, past mistakes, seeking redemption, self-destructing, etc., etc., etc. And I guess, you know, if you really want to put it all together, this is another really good example of that. Mimic is a character who is fundamentally, at his core, narcissist and a sociopath. But it didn't have to be this way. He could have recognized his problems. He could have taken steps to fix them, but he didn't. And he viewed any sort of relationship, any sort of trust as a thing to be discarded, to be destroyed. It has created, in essence, an very, very, very different view of a character that we once thought was just evil bad man. He is a bad person, but he's a bad person who had a chance to not be as much of a piece of shit as he ended up being. This shit was awesome. This is the kind of stuff that Sonic needs. And I'm not just saying this in general. I am saying this more in general, but I guess I just mean it like as an overarching basis. When we get these character dives, it recontextualizes so many individual actions and moments and things about these characters and makes them way more interesting and way more fleshed out. Not every character has to be like this, but giving characters more screen time and more space in order to have these inner understandings of what they feel and who they are only adds to the world building and makes things that much more interesting. This was excellent. This story was excellent. The other two stories were fun and interesting in their own right, but this story specifically is absolutely excellent. This is the kind of stuff I really hope IDW leans more into.
Agreed. And on top of that, as you see, we had 3 stories here. However, when the annual was originally solicited, they said it was going to have 4 stories, I guess, of similar themes of character introspection. However, seeing as the Mimic story was longer than the other 2, it seems like this story just kind of absorbed the 4th one. But
yeah.
With that being said, though, I kind of wish they did stick to 4 stories, because it would have been a good opportunity to focus more on Lanolin. Because look, I understand what you're about to say, and I don't disagree with you. But I'm just saying that it was a bit of a missed opportunity in the grand scheme of things.
So here's my take. I'm not necessarily saying this as Lanolin slander. I'm saying this as I am okay with them cutting the 4th story because it gave us this Mimic story, which is so excellently written that I'm okay with them not having it because they really took the time to tell a really special story. Do I agree that there should have been Lanolin shit here? Yes, I do. I'll also be honest and say, and for as good as the Knuckles story was, maybe we cut the Knuckles story and move it somewhere else. And then we put the Lanolin story in there. Okay, that's my take about it. Again, I'm okay with this. But we don't remove this. This is good. This is the good shit. This is the good shit. I don't want this cut down. I like stuff like this.
And I do agree fundamentally. So, annual's done. Let's move on to our main stuff. IDW issue 76. Flynn and Hammerstrom, our creative team.
Just a brief recap. Last time, because a lot of shit happened, I'll TLDR it for you. Clean Sweep Inc. got exposed to the entire world. Eggman yoinked Cluch after basically, being like, all right, I found out who it was. Partnership's over, man. I don't give a fuck what happens now. I'm taking this bitch because I don't fuck with him like that. And then Cluch, in his last desperate attempt, basically said, I'm gonna do a 9/11. And that's pretty much what happened to Resistance HQ.
Yeah, that's pretty apt. So now we have to pick up the pieces as to exactly what happened. Particularly, first case is what happened to Cluch. So, we open at the Chaotix Detective Agency. Sonic knocking, breaking in, saying, hey, any gumshoes looking to flat-footed or whatever you guys call it. As the Chaotix lock the door, rush Sonic into a chair, Vector immediately starts playing bad cop. We're the one asking questions here, Sonic. Or should I say, Phantom Rider? And he swats the light away, saying, look, man, this was my only option at the time. Although I do hear some folks saying that guy was pretty cool looking. But that's just me, though. I'm just hearing things. Espio asks if either way, you were in cahoots with Eggman while donning the persona. Since when were you saying things like cahoots? It's an apt word. You spending too much time around Vector. Second, convenient circumstances. That's it. Eggman wanted to know who was behind Clean Sweep. I thought something was wrong about the races. I agreed to use his extreme gear and make a mess as the Phantom Rider to create a distraction while Tails and Amy investigated what was happening. Well, Charmy shouts, we're the detectives here. You could have asked us for help. But Sonic adds, you guys were already on the case, and Tails and Amy ended up saving you guys. So it all worked out in the end. Vector, though, won't let Sonic go interrupting the races. Plus, Restoration HQ was destroyed and Clean Sweep CEO Cluch is still at large. Sonic, though, insists no one was injured or lost. Except for Cluch, which is worrisome. But that's why I came here in the first place. I want your help finding him. Vector is surprised Sonic wants in on the investigation, but he thinks that this could just tie into whoever stole Tails' Chaos Emerald, which is what he was trying to say before you went bad cop, worse cop on me. Well, Espio thinks this could be another Eggman ploy, but Sonic insists one-time deal. Espio adding he is a notorious manipulator. Didn't you guys take a case from him? My point stands. Yeah, Eggman double-crossed me. I know you could have told me that. Big shocker. Move it on. I want to know what he did with Cluch, and if either one of them is going to make trouble for more folks, so I came to the best detectives I know. Vector adds, if Sonic was there when everything went down, saw the whole thing. Hot diggity, eyewitness testimony. Let me add it to the board as he rolls out the fucking Pepe Sylvia board.
It's pretty great, I can't lie. It's fucking awesome. So now we cut to the Emeraldville Ruins, which was, as we mentioned before, I just like saying it because it's funny, 9/11 into oblivion. So Blaze and Silver are at their garden, which, if you remember, was a core plot point for them. They were tending a whole garden, and that's completely gone now. Do you think it's salvageable, Silver? Look at it, Blaze. It's a ruined mess. Honestly, it feels like an analogy for all my time-traveling efforts. I travel to the past, try to stop the peril, leave things in a good condition to prosper, only to come back and, well, might as well start cleaning up. Potential, man! I can't! I'm sorry, I had to.
Listen. We are past the Silver slander, alright? Shout out to Cord Art. He single-handedly saved this character from his allegations.
I don't know if he's beat the allegations, man. I love this motherfucker, but I don't know if he could beat them.
Maybe we really do need that Silver game. Maybe we really do need it.
We do. If and when, but never is.
Sega, please make it is. Please make it is. Look what's happening. Look to your boy. On the bright side, this is all going to make good compost for the next garden. Blaze says that this is what she finds admirable about him. In the face of adversity, your first thoughts are how to resume and make things better. It's commendable. Thanks. It's only over if you give up, right? Maybe this time I'll try an orchard. Big grove of apple trees. What do you think? Think it's ambitious. Amy and Tails arrive, happy to see the two back, and Amy apologizes about the garden, but Silver tells her about the apple orchard he's planning, to her delight. He and Blaze have been enjoying their world tour, enjoying the sights and the food, showing them having apples in Spagonia, seeing the northern lights in Halaska, and carpet shopping in Missouri. But Blaze is angered with herself, enjoying her time while they were in peril. But Tails says it's all fine, you're on vacation. But she says a princess must look out for her people. But you're not our princess, this isn't your world. Well, of course you are, Tails. You are my friends, and therefore my people. So I will do anything I can to protect your homes and your world. You deserve nothing less. And Amy hug rushes her, saying how sweet she is, as she is not a hugger, she's a little startled. But Blaze offers to help rebuild. Tails mentioning that the restoration has various regional branches, originally designed to decentralize the post-war rebuilding efforts. Everything was networked through here, though. I do want to stop and add, though, that Blaze has had such fantastic character development, man.
Yeah, I people have been saying this, bro, but you know, the rabbit with the watch, bro, that shit. Sega, come on, man, it's time. She needs to be back in the games, bro. Let her cook, bro. It's time, man. I'm begging you. Please, God, let us play as Blaze again.
Plus, as they travel, Tails hopes to figure out what happened to his Chaos Emerald. I got nothing so far, and it's kind of creepy. Amy offers Silver to come along. You'd still get to see the world, as we see him getting some sort of, like, psychic tingles, saying the Diamond Cutters might need him. It wasn't working out before, but maybe now I could be useful, and flies off. Elsewhere, we see the Diamond Cutters, plus Jewel and Belle, just sitting around, not saying a word to each other until Silver lands in. And he speaks saying nothing is going to change until someone speaks up. So Jewel, start. What's the plan? The plan is I quit. And Lanolin then speaks up, but Jewel interrupts. No, this is needed. I thought I could be helpful when I took over for Amy. I knew going from managing a small museum would be a challenge, but it was one I wanted to take. I thought it would be fun to get out of my comfort zone, but it was too much. I wasn't the right person for the job. And then Jewel begins to break down, talking how partnering with Cluch was supposed to lighten the load, reach milestones couldn't reach on her own, and then the ship was crashing. I said to steer it here. It was far enough from the city without knowing the way the allegation was complete, or Lanolin then said it was the right logical choice in the end. But Jewel says it was a horrible choice. Everything is in ruins. And she just kind of clutches her body as Tangle racks her up in her tail, brings her onto her lap. You've always liked helping people. You've gotten me out of trouble a million times. Most folks would have given up, but you stuck it out and you did your best the whole time. You got played by Cluch, but what do you always tell me? You learn from past mistakes. So don't beat yourself up because Cluch ruined a good thing. He's the bad guy, not you. Aw, thanks, bestie. Lanolin goes next. After looking at every angle she can muster, the best thing that she could come up with is, I'm sorry. I've wanted so badly to make things better for so long, for things to make sense. It's obvious I fixated on so long for the goal that I lost sight of the process and the people in it. The whole reason I set out to make a change to begin with. It blinded me to Mimic. It made you distrust me so much that you hid Sonic's identity from me. I became a liability. So I'm in no position to judge anyone's merit, so I apologize to all of you. Especially to Silver and Whisper. And they thank her. She does want to make things better. Maybe not restart the restoration, but maybe start small. Start by rebuilding the town here, Emeraldville. Jewel asks if she has experience in town management, infrastructure, or construction. Oh, well, I picked up with pointers by the restoration. No. Well, neither do I, but I learned a lot by managing things, so if we take things slow and work together, I think we can learn as we go. We, huh? Okay, I can work with that. All right, Whisper, your turn. And she very coldly says, find Mimic, end Mimic. And Tangle's like, no, we've been through this. We find Mimic and we stop him. Okay? Yes, of course. And she turns to Silver. Will you join us in stopping Mimic? And Silver immediately gets on her page and says, yeah, absolutely.
We gonna kill this motherfucker!
Listen. You want to talk about Silver potential, man? I want to see the more ruthless side of him.
Well, you know, it's no use type motherfucker. Anyways, my God, bro.
Well, Tangle's glad that's all sorted, and as for Belle, she's not interested in a fight, but she has been thinking, since the loss of her father and surviving so many encounters and seeing all the good they do, the world doesn't seem as big or scary anymore. I want to travel with Motabud and help folks along the way. Take some time for myself away from all the cataclysmic scenarios. I love you all, but you're all disaster magnets. Silver comments, yeah, what is it about this time period, right? Silver, I don't know if you're like the right person to be saying that. Tangle is saddened how this seems to be the end of the Diamond Cutters, apologizing to Whisper in particular, but she thinks a see you later is better than goodbye. And Lanolin's thankful for it, Jewel thanking Silver for leading this little therapy session, and he ends it by bringing in everyone for a big group hug. Then at the Chaotix Detective Agency, Sonic has been with the boys all day going through the board, and they break down is this. Clean Sweep appears to still be operating, but we don't know who is operating it. It's unlikely to be Cluch. His last acts in the streets were brazen, but he's not that reckless. Plus, Eggman hated that operation. Why would he want it to stay running? So Sonic thinks when in doubt, let's start from the beginning. Let's chase this lead. If we're lucky, we can find out who stole Tails' Chaos Emerald along the way. Vector tells Sonic, calm down, let's take one step at a time here. Well, what are we waiting for? As we see Sonic speeding ahead of the Chaotix, driving behind him, Tails, Amy, and Blaze on the Tornado, Belle driving her caravan, Lanolin and Jewel starting preliminary work on the town rebuild. So now we end with everyone going their separate ways, but we are going to take the time to sort of step through everything and see what exactly everyone is going to be doing. All right? All right.
Well, I guess they are all off.
So, without further ado, let's start with the next issue 77, Flynn and Thomas again here. And we're focusing on Sonic and the Chaotix. They're at White Park Zone at Clutch's White Park Chateau, seemingly abandoned. Vector wonders if Cluch would really bother coming back here, as Charmy would rather go to the amusement park, but, you know, we're on the clock here, buddy. The Chaotix Detective Agency never plays around on the client's time. Who is our client this time? It's a matter of principle, kid. Our client is our pride. That's a lousy repeat, client. I like where they developed Charmy as him being a little sassy. I think he deserves a little smacking around.
Yeah, he does.
So, Vector is out here doing bits, as Sonic explains that an avalanche happened here, and that was cleared away. So Clutch must have done repairs, but it doesn't seem like it's been touched in a while. So Charmy flies up to the higher floors as SVO chides Vector for his stand-up routine. We got Sonic here doing our job. Maybe this was meant to be Clutch's central base or just a front for the comeback. As Charmy sees in the window, people are moving around in the dark, and that could be Clutch. Let's go get him, boys! So Sonic rushes in around the entire building, Vector thinking he can't get good detail like that, but Sonic says some doors were locked, but otherwise the place was empty. The only room I didn't check was the kitchen. Telling Charmy that if the place is empty and the food is still good, maybe someone hungry should stop by for snacks, which Charmy is very down for. But the boys are called on by a voice on the higher floors. That being the voices of Ruff and Tumble, calling this place their estate. And they're wearing very, very tacky clothes, man. They do not have that shit on.
They do not. These guys look like bums, bro.
Sonic is amused to see these guys reform and still stick to their bits, but they say that they got others to do their bidding now, Ruff ringing a bell, which activates all the downed egg pawns. But these robots are programmed to run the games, Sonic thinks, as it launches the roulette table at his head. The Chaotix are surrounded while Espio thinks they just got a bad hand. He still has some aces up his sleeve, pulling some kunai and throwing them in a 360 spread. Oh, so joking around is only a problem when Vector does it. Well, my skills are no joke. See, this is another kind of interesting aspect about Espio in particular. They are kind of writing him more like a Chunibyo type character, but his skills actually do back up what he says. It's kind of a fascinating dynamic.
I mean, they kind of need someone in this series like that aside from Shadow, so you know.
As for Charmy, Vector asks him for a dive bomb, but he's distracted playing a board game, half pipes and pulleys, and they got all the pieces. Charmy, you better help me or I swear, oh, they're just egg pawns. We beat them up all the time. If I don't get to ride the rides or eat the snacks, I'm gonna play the games. Vector is pinned between two pawns. One of them is about to pull out their lance, leading Vector to stop it with his mouth and crunches it in half. Look, this is what I mean about them using their animal attributes, because that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it looks clean. It's really, really cool.
And he's also, like, chewing on the metal bits and bolts. It's kind of rough. But, Ruff and Tumble are not amused seeing their help on the defeat, so they figure they gotta come out of retirement and handle this themselves. Though their retirement hasn't even been a week. Ruff and Tumble engage Espio and Vector, and they're not trying to get their new fits torn up in the fight. Sonic calls a timeout. Are you two down to get your hands dirty, or are you and your precious wardrobe too good to scrap? Well, can we do both? On top of this, Vector thought these two quit being bad guys. You told us after Clutch abandoned you. And they did. We're legit businessmen now. And Clutch works for us. And Charmy congratulates them, but Vector tells him not to encourage the suspects and put the board game back. Sonic tells them either confess or fight. I don't have the patience for this. Neither do I, Clutch says from the top of the stairs. Clutch assumes they were looking for him. Mr. Ruff, Mr. Tumble, allow me to host the troll makers and I will make sure they won't bother you any further. Agreed. And when you're done, clean this mess up, which he agrees to. So this way, children. SPO thinks this is a trap, but either way, Sonic wants to see how this plays out, as Vector tells Charmy to put the board game back. You're not the boss of me. Yes, I am, in fact.
So now we come to a face-to-face confrontation with Cluch. Really interesting scene. Like this one a lot. You neutralized my empire, ruined my big comeback, outed me to the public, and made me an enemy of Dr. Eggman. What more do you want? Let's start off by having you answer for the destruction of Restoration HQ, Sonic says. A Pyrrhic victory at best, your people didn't lose anything of real value, and I lost everything. Room for some debate there, but moving on. Then what happened between you and Eggman? Last I saw, he was dragging you off and you weren't in great shape. I lay low until he became distracted, then escaped. Ooh, that's what I do. That's fucking charming, oh my god. Oh, what? You want something more dramatic?
And then he continues, I've endured this long by cutting my losses. I overplayed my hand during the sweepstakes, and look where that got me. No, I only did the reasonable thing at that time, run and hide. There's no shame in doing the smart thing. Vector wonders if running to the first place they'd look is smart. Cluch adds that White Chateau was his haven. You couldn't find me, I confronted you. Then this is a tactical retreat so you can rally and come back stronger? Why else would you have still stolen EdTech and have those goons masquerading as your new employers? Fed up, Cluch goes for a file under the desk and gives the boys a piece of paper. The deed to the chateau, signed over to Rough and Tumble, also detailing the terms of his employment. They came looking for payback, I paid in collateral. As for the robots, they're just leftover stock from when I ran operations from here. SVO doesn't understand how Clean Sweep can still be operating them. I deal in robots. They're automated. And before you ask, most of the living staff abandoned me when I was exposed. The mechanical aspects will keep running until they eventually turn down due to neglect. All in all, the Chaotix think they're basically being asked to take his word on it, but Cluch insists that it's over for me. I'm an old man, I tried to get back in the game, and you beat me. You won. It's over. Charmy comments that he does kind of feel bad for him, but SVO says not to. And they're still not convinced, as Cluch decides to buy them off. Pulls out the Rolodex, gives Sonic a card. That's the closest Clean Sweep factory. You'll see there I'm telling the truth. Burn it to the ground for all I care. Well, not my style, but thanks.
Okay. Charmy then is like, okay, but I don't want that, man. I want the game.
Fine, take the blasted game.
So basically they all leave. They said they're gonna check it out and see if it adds up. We should have made the bad guys give us stuff all the time. Charmy says as he leaves. That's extortion.
As they come down, Sonic tells Rough and Tumble sorry for disturbing their business. We'll leave you to it. And they got a lot to do running this place. And SPO asks, what is that exactly? Oh, well, we live large, we do what we want, and we eat what we want, and we do what we want. Yeah, the old man supplies us with whatever we need. Well, I can see that. But I mean, what business do you run here? Run a business? Like a job? Charmy asks if he can work for them, though, as Vector's like, dude, come on, what are you doing? Outside, they all debate if Cluch really is being honest, and Vector does seem to think so, but we may as well check out the facility. If he's plotting something bigger, it's going to be hard to hide it. Either way, Sonic is down to check out a sketchy base full of egg tech as he leads the way there. As Cluch watches him go, he turns to this Porky statue, turns its head, he opens up a hatch to an underground part of the chateau, as Rough and Tumble come him exactly how to run a so-called business. Nowhere to be found, they just assume we went to bed or something, but we don't need them, we can come up with brilliant ideas all our own. And below, Cluch is seen behind a large set of monitors, calling in to Dr. Eggman, informing him that Sonic and the Chaotix came by and were asked questions. I just sent them to the nearest Clean Sweep base. I'll give you the address. I'm sure you can supply some surprises for their arrival. And I didn't even need to prompt you. Well done. What else did you tell them? Oh, well, nothing of consequence. I handled the matter. I insist.
Cluch takes off his hat to show that there is an egg spider with some kind of neural link on it. We don't know what this is. We can't tell if this is a bomb, if it's a way to control Cluch. But what we know is that Eggman has this motherfucker in the palm of his hand. I lied to them. They have no idea Clean Sweep Inc. is now a front for the Eggman Empire, or that you're profiting off your own waste. Very good. I was never that big into recycling, but it's been useful. You're dismissed. For now. It looks like it was a good idea to keep you around after all. Waste not, want not, eh? Isn't that your motto? As Eggman laughs off, the TV monitors turn off, and Clutch's hand is visibly shaking. So, Clean Sweep exists. Clutch is in Eggman's grasp now. I wonder how this plays out.
I mean, you know what? This is one thing that I've really wanted. Look, since we've already brought up Archie, I may as well talk about this. One thing, certain characters notwithstanding, that I wish IDW would yoink from Archie is the idea of Eggman having like sub-bosses underneath him, and Clutch being in that exact same position kind of seems to be the start of that. And if that's really where it's going to go, I'm really excited to see where that follows, because I think Eggman genuinely does need allies on his side.
Well, I mean, hashtag the game. It's one of those things where I think it's interesting for Eggman to have people that he is in cahoots with, but are actively always trying to one-up him, because it does create the level of tension and distrust while also, having, like, enforcers and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I think it'd be cool for the sub-boss concept to return, but, we'll see how it goes, and we'll see where things take us with that. For now, however, we are continuing on to issue 78, where we have a interesting story that we are going to be talking about.
It actually kind of follows up with the very first story we touched on today in the annual. 78, Flynn and Hammerstrom again. Tails, Amy, and Blaze are coming towards Barricade Town, hoping the bad weather isn't an omen. At least it looked like it recovered from the metal virus. Also, they drove here in Tails' car after realizing Blaze's fear of heights. They realized the tornado was not the best option for her, and there's a cute little panel of her, like, on the wings of the tornado, clutching her body, and she's, like, visibly shaking. Very cute.
Adorable.
Blaze says it really was not that big of a deal, but thank you for the effort. They arrive in town, and everything seems fine. Amy thinks it sounds like she's disappointed for it being so peaceful, but Tails reminded her the point of the trip was to see how loss of the HQ affected the network, and it seems like Barricade Town was not affected. Blaze, her eyes filled with determination, says peace can mask deeper troubles. Let's find the liaison here. Amy, seeing that Blaze is trying to make up for not being around to help. Tails commenting her empire is lucky she's so dedicated. I've always been so impressed her devotion to protect others. So they head to the office. The receptionist doing her customer service lines, and Amy mentions how Restoration HQ got destroyed, and they came to check how they were handling the fallout. And the girl there says, actually, we're doing perfectly fine. We'll even send volunteers in the network to go to Emeraldville to help rebuilding efforts. So, with that in the clear, they go to their next stop, Glass Hill. And on the drive there, they see smoke in the hillsides. This being Blaze's specialty, she launches herself towards it, but finds a firefighter crew already putting it out. And a monkey kid with the volunteer force says not to worry, the restoration outpost takes care of everything here. In fact, we're actually overstaffed and oversupplied. I'm going to be sent out to Emeraldville to help with rebuilding efforts. I kind of feel like I personally owe it to them. It's a long story. If you don't remember, this kid was the one that like snuck into Restoration HQ when he was infected with metal virus and caused the outbreak in there.
Oh yeah, that was like 5 billion years ago, but I was wondering why I remembered it. I was like, yes. Makes sense.
So, Amy asked him if they knew about the disaster beforehand, and he's not really sure. I don't keep up with the news. All I know is people need help, so I'm going to go help them. Now, that, my friends, is radical centrism.
He don't got internet.
They really don't got internet out there. Isn't that what the restoration is about? And Amy hugs him. Yes, you're absolutely right. Later on, they're thrilled to know that the restoration network is as strong as ever. Cluch tried to take us down, and he completely failed. Blaze then comments about how they did excellent work. You laid a foundation for something great. All your hard work, kindness, and compassion are paying dividends. The restoration's enduring legacy is thanks to your efforts. You should be proud of what you've accomplished. Well, we got one more place to check in on before we wrap this investigation up. Turtle Shell Island, an artificial island in the basis of an island naturally shaped like a turtle. They dock and head toward the town. They find all is well. Something that Surge and Kit agree with. They've been here for a while and got nothing to do. Surge wants to do their hero's journey, but there's no peril anywhere. Yeah, but that's a good thing, though. Tails tries to say hello to Kit, but he just kind of emanates the aura of animus, if you will. Surge thinks they should just move on if there's nothing going on, but Kit says, well, you never know. Something could go wrong, as we then move to see a bomb planted on one of the town's buoys explode. They feel the rumble of the support systems fail. The anchors are what kept the town afloat, and without it, the strain of the other anchors will be under too much stress and cause the town to tip into the lake. Surge thinks what she can do is smash a parallel buoy to even it out, and flashes away before Tails cannot explain that that's not the solution. But it's too late. Blaze rushes to catch her all over town, but is too late as Surge breaks the buoy's rope off. So all she can do is yell at her. Now the town will end up sinking faster, which Surge blames Tails for not explaining the situation correctly, so Blaze drags her back, hoping Tails can think of something to salvage this. In the town, the local restoration volunteers are directing people to their lifeboats, and Amy offers to help. But Guy here says, we actually have everything under control. We've drilled for this. We have lifeboats prepared and shelters in place on the green shell. Unfortunately, there's nothing that can be done to save the town itself. It's such a shame too. It's such a beautiful place. So Amy decides to go into the town to scope it out for stragglers and send them to their lifeboats. And make sure to evacuate yourself, he says. Amy comes back to Tails and Kit as Blaze and Surge come in at the same time, now down 2 buoys. Amy drags Surge with her to search the town, as she says she does not want to do that, it's not grand enough for her, but on the call for being a hero, she goes along. Blaze asks Tails if there's a plan in mind, and he does have something. He looked at the schematics for the town, and this place is actually built on top of an active volcano poking out from under the sea. To which I gotta stop and say, maybe Surge does have a point here when she says these people are stupid, because that's fucking crazy.
I know, man. What the hell?
Anyway, the evacuation protocols were made with an eruption in mind. Blaze could save the day here. Tails thinks that Blaze can control flames. She could probably kickstart the thermal vents below the town to keep it afloat while the buoys are repaired. She's never tried something like that before, but she won't abandon the people in need. She'll need a means of reaching the bottom of the lake. And so that's where Kit chimes in. What, don't you have some brilliant gizmo to fix everything? No, I did my analysis, now I'm going to join search and rescue. You have the new unique tools and skills we need now. You're the only one who can do this. Kit, however, does not want to upstage Surge, but Surge says they're a package deal. I'll get glory by proxy, so quit wasting time and get to it, Drippy. The teams break, Amy, Surge, and Tails finding some kids left behind playing hide and seek, and then Kit and Blaze put a water bubble around them and slowly go down. Blaze notices the bubble gets smaller, which Kit says is both due to water pressure and limited air supply, so shush. Getting to the floor, Kit tells Blaze to be quick as she puts her hand through the bubble and thinks how she felt in the past. Her flames were once a curse that kept people away from her, but after meeting her friends, she realized that these powers were a gift to defend the weak, dispel evil, and empower me. They've given her so much, and now it's her turn to give back in her own way, helping others so they may help more in turn. That is the way of the restoration. So she touches the ground, juices up the vents, and the pressure pushes the bubble back up to the surface, the people on the boats cheering that their homes are safe. So with them back up, Tails will work on at least temporarily securing the lines to buoys, and Amy will go make sure that the people are fully accounted for. Blaze does give her compliments to Surge for her efforts, misstep aside. You are truly honoring the ideals of the restoration. Surge, though, does not think so since no one was around to see her efforts. As Kit says, there will be more chances, and I will make sure of it. Meanwhile, in Rainbow Ravine, we see Whisper eating at a cafe, saying to the waitress she's waiting for a friend. As we see her being spied on through a scope, Whisper has gotten soft, as Mimic could be any one of the people in that crowded cafe. And Mimic does say she was able to track him all the way out here, so I may as well say hello.
Alright, it's finally time. Last time these two are fighting. This issue is more just kind of like set up for, I guess, some of the ideas they want to do, but next issue.
Issue 79 from Flynn and Thomas. Rainbow Ravine. Whisper is met by Cream at the cafe. Where's Cheese at? Oh, the poor little man has a tummy ache. Well, how's your mom? I hope Miss Tapioca's doing well. Mummy's name is Vanilla, silly. Something wrong, Miss Whisper? You've done your homework, Mimic. Accounted for Cheese, got the mom's name right, but Cream has much better manners, and she doesn't say Mummy. So then Mimic gives it up. So many details to keep track of. It's quite challenging. I had to learn all your new friends and all their connections. You made so many of them recently. And he continues to slowly morph back into his real form. You know, it's what we used to do in the Diamond Cutters. Scout ahead, learn the enemy, give the team the edge. Until you betrayed us to Dr. Eggman. Well, Eggman caught me, and he wanted to spy, and I wanted to live. Thus you all became the enemy. So I scouted, learned, gave the new boss the edge. I thought you'd learn your lesson when you lost everyone dear to you, but here you are with a bigger ensemble. Just can't help yourself, can you? So many vulnerabilities. Friends uplift, improve, cover your blind spots. They become blind spots, angles you can't always account for. Liabilities. The only way you can fix that is by working alone. I see you finally take that to heart, because here you are. Here I am. You know, all our bad blood aside, I have always respected that about you. You understand the importance of working alone, taking up a remote position, lobbing rockets till we all get close. That's the only reason you got away back then. Because you weren't there, by their side. That's a lie. I was always there for them. You weren't. No more hunting, no more running from you. We are finishing this. As Mimic twirls his knife in his hand, here to see the job through no matter what. You know, so many of our friends would just let this grudge go. Live and let live, forgive and forget, be the better person. Not us. Let's finish what we started. Yeah. You even lured me out here by not having your wisp on in easy reach. Even if you grab it in time, how will you discharge such a dangerous weapon in such a crowded spot? I won't.
So before we go any further, I gotta tell you, man, the art, chef's kiss shit. There are so many good close-ups. The shots of Cream fading into Mimic are pretty good. And then it's the way the dialogue is written and the back and forth they're having. It feels so tense and you can really feel it. It's all black backgrounds, by the way. Because they're locked in their own little world right now. It's so perfect. It's really, really good.
Great visuals, yes. As they're broken out, the two of them are grabbed by Silver's psychokinesis as Mimic panics, but Whisper is still just big chillin' sipping her drink. Silver says he can only be so precise, but she says it's all good, man. Mimic calls her a coward for bringing others into this, but she calls him an idiot for thinking you can still do everything on your own. Well, I'm the only one I can rely on, showing he still has his flight core he has from Starline, activating it to break out of Silver's grab and heading out into the crowd. Silver tries to grab him again, but ends up grabbing everyone and everything but Mimic. So Whisper gives chase, asking Tangle for a visual, looking high up into the market, saying that Mimic shifted into a red quokka, snazzy jacket, average height, which is Barry from Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, by the way. That's the same character.
Barry is fucking everywhere now. They just shove him into places. It's great.
Whisper is warned he's doubling back and heading for her, and she warns Silver to go high. She stands plainly in the market as Mimic comes around behind her, ready to make his hit, when Whisper notices and activates the hover on her Wispon, launching Mimic up, Silver catching him, and he breaks away, flying down toward the ravine. Tangle launches herself toward Mimic to grab him and does make contact as Silver feels dizzy from overusing his powers. With his head clearing, Whisper hits the rocket jump toward the ledge on the ravine as Tangle and Mimic go hand to hand on a ledge. She has him on the ropes, pushing him toward the rock wall, hand on neck. You terrorize my friends. You don't get to talk.
The art again, great. The shots of Tangle beating the shit out of Mimic are pretty great.
Yeah, no, this girl got hands. It's crazy.
Yeah, the red and white they use for it is also awesome. I love that.
So then Mimic ends up morphing into a monster, refusing to go out like this, freaking Tangle out enough to nearly fall off the ledge. Silver catches her as he and Whisper close in, leaving Whisper to go ballistic with the Wispon. She smacks him down with the hammer, firing at him with laser, and he's reverted back to his original form, Tangle demanding she go down there, seemingly just to hold her back. And Mimic, point blank, about to get fired upon, and he basically tries to take Whisper out with him by stabbing his power core, causing a massive explosion. Tangle is dropped. They chase down as Whisper is falling, Silver having to stop debris from hitting civilians. Tangle grabs Whisper, passed out with her Wispon, asking Hover to turn on his power and save them both. And it works, as Whisper wakes up in Tangle's arms, surprised to see her there, and Tangle saying she finally got to use the Wispon. And look, I didn't break it. But as for Mimic, they see his body fall into the river below as they hit solid ground. And Whisper, tears in her eyes, falls to her knees. It's over. It's finally over. Smithy, Claire, Slinger, it's done. And she is a wreck of herself. It is very... Yeah. Look, the art here is also fantastic as you can really show the weight of her emotions.
Also, important to note, the text box is no longer in the Whisper. It's fully, like, it's like she's speaking openly. There's no whisper, like, angle to it. It's great.
Tangle thanks Silver for his help and thinks what the plan is for Whisper now. She never really had an after-battle plan when it came to Mimic, but Tangle thinks, why? Don't we to start? Let's just go home. So, as they leave, we then move to the Rainstone Forest. Sonic and the Chaotix are going after the lead Cluch gave them about the supposed recycling plant, as they are being unknowingly stalked by an Interceptor, which is one of the, like, big round bosses from Sonic Colors, I believe. Or I think Unleashed, actually.
And no, it is Unleashed.
Well, look, either way, that's the end of the comic, and that is the end of that whole, like, Mimic versus Whisper storyline, as he just killed himself, basically.
Yeah, I guess there's no other way they could really do it. I feel like reforming Mimic at this point is kind of like a fool's errand, and I feel like, you know, sometimes, kids, death is okay. Sometimes motherfuckers gotta go.
Which is why, again, seeing in that last story, Silver and Whisper making eyes and, like, Silver immediately catching on, like, what she really means is, like, needed. And look,
yeah,
technically she didn't do the deed. It's not on her.
Exactly. It's on the motherfucker himself. So, R.I.P. Mimic. I think they're not bringing him back. I think he's done. Like, I don't think they're gonna bring him back. I think that's actually like a kill.
Yeah, no, I don't even know where they could go with bringing him back to. The character's done. And you know what? Some finality is good. We don't need to resurface this.
Yep, exactly. Characters can die. It's like if you randomly brought back Starline. I'm sorry, but I'd call that hack fraud writing.
Interesting you say that. We'll get into it. IDW Sonic issue 80. Ian Flynn, Aaron Hammerstrom. Sonic and the Chaotix are ambushed by the Interceptor stalking them, just as the rain starts, breaking through the palm trees, striking the ground, with Sonic running up to its arm to hit it dead center. Hey, where you going? We're just getting started. That's a very Ryan Drummond line right there. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
As it backs off, Vector tells Espio to go invisible, meet an ambush with an ambush, as Vector, Charmy, and Sonic, back to back, are watching the trees. Charmy spots it charging towards him until it's stopped dead in its tracks by Shadow. It's been a while since we've seen this motherfucker.
Yeah, where has he been, man? I know he's aura farming as per usual, but like, what's bro been up to?
Well, Espio appears, not warning Charmy in time. Sonic compliments Shadow's entrance, and Rouge comes in from above, not expecting to find the boys here. Vector asking what's Rouge's angle. Straightforward this time. Clean Sweep Inc. was exposed. Certain parties hired me to look into the company for anything else interesting. Vector says that they should have gotten that contract. We were the ones who exposed Cluch to begin with. Charmy adding that they were the one who got the intel to Jewel while Vector and Espio were trapped. Cut it out with the unnecessary details. What? You said I did good, though. Did well, Shadow says. I didn't expect it to be like a grammar Nazi.
He was exposing the villains. He did well and did good, says Sonic. As the two look at each other, and Shadow is basically like, bruh, shut the fuck up.
Oh, God. So, you doing a favor for Rouge or just enjoying fighting robots in the rain? I simply dislike Clutch's nonsense. That's all. So where's Omega then? He'd love blasting all this unlicensed egg tech, and Rouge agrees, which is why he stayed behind. This job needs a precision touch. Fair enough. Shadow hears something in the forest, telling everyone be quiet. We then see another Interceptor about to come out of the tree line, Charmy hoping it was just the rain this time, until they're now ambushed by 3 more of them. Rouge thinking that with all these defenses, the interior should be clear, flying up and out toward the base. Also, something I forgot to mention was that since they're in the rain, Rouge has like a hood over her ears, and she's actually covering herself with the wings. That's actually a very nice detail.
Yeah, I like that. I like when the animal parts are emphasized.
Vector tells Espio to chase after her. Don't let her have all the intel to herself. Espio follows Rouge into the facility and gets cut off by her, warning him that the old man's security system is still active, which Espio says is easily resolved. He goes invisible, security only able to see the wet footprints, and releases his invisibility, pushing the air outward and hitting each camera with a shuriken. Rouge is very impressed. But how many more are you going to use to get this door open? Espio thinks he can wedge one into the scene, but Rouge has another idea. Plants one of her heart bombs on the door, activates it by blowing a kiss, and goes off, leaving a heart-shaped hole in the door. So, they go through, leaving everything inside intact. They find the central computer. Rouge puts in the USBs for her and Shadow, Espio giving her one of his as he disabled the guns. Rouge reluctantly throws him in an open slot.
Just a small little side note, dude. Bro, did you see the USB stick that Espio has?
Yeah, it's the, what is it? It's like the Dr. Chow from the Chow Garden, yeah?
Yeah, it's the black market dealer from SA2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
honestly,
really
great
cute.
touch.
Yeah, exactly.
She says to look onto the security feed to see how the boys are handling the robots, and Espio says they're doing as well as you can expect. We then see Vector on top of an interceptor, ripping its top off, leaving Charmy to dive into the hole to try something. He grabs a handful of wires, which let him directly control the arms, and fights the other interceptors directly. Kinda based on his part.
Smart kid.
As for the remaining two, Sonic and Shadow dodge a hit from one of them. Sonic asking Shadow to go left, right, center, and he agrees. So the two homing attack dance around the interceptors and in sync hit the center one clean and the two fly out. Sonic and Shadow sweep across each other. Sonic saying it's almost painful to be this cool, and Shadow smirks in response.
I mean...
Folks, it's cinema.
You know,
it's cinema, folks.
It's cinema.
Inside, Espio sees more super badness coming online, but no one is here to give the order. While the facility is fully automated, Cluch was telling the truth. But Rouge notices that Cluch was doing it selectively. This database has facilities which are not publicly listed. So she gives Espio his USP back, telling them that they can check it out on their own time. And all the data is on it? Well, what kind of girl do you take me for? A tricky, devious spy. Sweet talker. She adds that she does not find a way to shut off the defense system, which leaves Espio to use his, as he describes it, his well-tested technique for this, which he karate chops the keyboard to Rouge's shock, and it turns off the interceptors.
Okay, remind me. This is Shadow, right?
Yeah, because this is in Shadow the Hedgehog, the end of the game, where, remember, the Chaotix were pivotal to the story of Shadow the Hedgehog, because Espio karate chopped the computer on the Ark, and that's what got him and Shadow into the Ark's computer, and then did it again to play the video from Gerald. So he did this shit twice. And look, since Ian wrote this, I do want to say, Ian, if you want to use references, you want to call back to stuff, this is how you do it.
Yes, exactly. It's like, this is the small stuff, man. This is the small stuff that feels low-key. Oh, he's using the, I have a well-tested technique for this. There's no, like, specific call-out to it, but it's like, oh, same shit he did before. Okay, that feels consistent, right?
Yeah, it's consistency, and, you know, you want to call back to something, it's subtle enough where it's not, like, in your face. The interceptors are now shut down. Rouge shocked that it worked. Espio's precision touch as he gives a small bow. She holds her finger on his chin, saying she'll remember that for the future. Let's go meet with the others before they think we've been alone together too long. As Espio's like, what do you mean? Why do they think? Oh boy. She's doing it again, folks. She's doing it again. Later, the boys meet inside the facility, Vector noting that Clutch's confection checks out, but at the same time, tonight's tussle still felt like a planned ambush. Sonic thinks that this is the kind of reception could have been set up by anyone checking into this. Yeah, definite maybe. Shadow saying an oxymoron. Since when did he become a grammar cop, for real though? When did this
I don't know, man. I think they're just making it a cute personality bit.
Vector, however, won't close the case until he's satisfied. Rouge saying they got a copy of all Clean Sweet's facilities, same as this drive, which Shadow snatches from her hands, put into his handheld PC, and intending to go to each location and neutralize them. Speaking of references, this handheld PC is shaped like a fucking, like, McDonald's Happy Meal tie that they did for Sonic Heroes back in the day.
It does look vaguely like it. That's very funny.
Great job, guys. Thank you for that. Vector adds that as the expert detectives, we can lend a hand as long as it's not illegal. Sonic offers to help Bashbots along the way, but Shadow gives a resounding no to each, and tells Rouge she'll keep in touch, and warps away. Rouge sighs, saying that this is why she made a second copy for herself. Honestly, I wish he would just ask once in a while. Well, Vector stretches his back. Boys, let's head home. And sorry for getting on your case, Sonic. Isn't this getting on the case? You know what you do? Let us know if you come across anything. Yeah, sure thing. Rouge asks if they don't want her help. Sure. How much would it cost? Well, if you have to ask, you can't afford. Go figure. Wow,
They're
okay.
broke as fuck, bro. You can't afford this, bro. Fuck you.
My mom's kind of homeless. I'm sorry. Before she can leave, Sonic stops her. Really, Blue? It's been a long night and I need my beauty sleep. You'll be fine. Tails was looking after a Chaos Emerald and it went missing. Think you could provide some professional insight? Are you accusing me? If the shoe fits. Leave the investigation to the Chaotix, sweetie. Look, I secured an emerald of my own for safekeeping, but it vanished just one night. I've been looking into the theft, but it got no leads. By the way, this scene of like Rouge in her apartment, I am fairly certain this is actually like a reference to Sonic Channel artwork that Uekawa did.
Probably because at some point, right, like, I know they've shown that Rouge has, like, a glamorous fucking apartment, bro. She's a fucking spy. She got money out the ass, bro.
She is literally the Sonic series Ada Wong at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tell you what, if I find anything, I'll let you know, and vice versa, She says, putting her finger on Sonic's chin, sure, and that includes returning any wayward emerald back to where they came from, right? We'll see how it goes. See her around as she takes off as Sonic looks into the jungle. This is very interesting. We just see Sonic looking outward. We don't know what he's thinking. We don't know what he's feeling. He only says, maybe just the rain, and speeds off, passing by a buzz bomber that was spying on him. On the other side, we see several monitors spying on several locales and people, including Tails, Silver, Blaze, Tangle, Whisper, Surgeon Kit, Eggman, Knuckles, and the Master Emerald. And there are a handful of other areas that are on the monitors, which at least look like, to me personally, Kronos Island and Ares Island.
Yeah, I can definitely see the Kronos Island comparison, but that also could be taken for like a stadium potentially, so I don't know.
Right.
Either way, the last shot is of 6 Chaos Emeralds in a coffin. One missing. So we are...
Well, it's 1 Chaos Emerald and a bigger slot, which presumably could be for the Master Emerald.
Yeah, well, there's 6 Chaos Emeralds in slots, but there's 8 total, and then there's 1 that clearly looks like a slot for the Master Emerald.
And the comic ends declaring that the road to issue 100 has begun. So there's a lot to this. There's a lot to discuss here. And the comic is now setting up for the big thing. Issue 100. That's huge for any comic to reach 100 issues. And IDW, if you have not seen on their socials, they are really emphasizing that issue 100 is going to be big. It's going to be something really big, actually. What can we take from this? We are looking at a container holding 6 of the 7 Chaos Emeralds plus the Master Emerald, and it's shaped like a coffin. So that tells me that this character, whoever's doing this master plan here, could be a character that we thought was previously dead. So it's funny you brought up Starline, because I think Starline is kind of like the biggest, like, that is who this person could be right now. But I'm going to throw in my wild card. I'm going to throw something in here. I think it's Infinite.
Wait! Okay. Pitch me.
Infinite is planning a return using the 7 Chaos Emeralds plus Master Emerald to supercharge his broken Phantom Ruby. And in doing so, he is going to juice himself up and create a return of the original plan he did with Eggman, but taking over the world on his own and dooming the world to mass hysteria with him as a leader.
All right, here's my take. I think Sega bringing back Infinite would be top 5 funniest things in this franchise. I think it would be even funnier if they actually made Infinite cool. So, if that's the plan, fuck it. Yeah, bring Infinite back.
I mean, honestly,
let it ride.
If, I feel like I've said this before, but had Shadow Generations had like a bit more budget and time to it, I think they really could have expanded the idea of not only having Mephiles back, but having Infinite back as more of a rival fight too.
I mean, I feel like they could have done it, yeah. But I feel like, and I say this with love, Shadow doesn't think about Infinite like that, bro. Infinite thought about Shadow like that.
No, yeah, but that's the point, right? Like, it doesn't matter what Shadow thinks about that. It's more so like what... Because, like, it was the same thing with Mephiles, ultimately.
I would argue that Mephiles was way more entwined into Shadow as a character.
Oh, no, yeah, I agree to that much. You're absolutely right. I'm just saying, though.
No, I get it.
So, yeah, look. Could it be Starline? Could be Infinite. Could be any other character they decide to bring back. It's very promising. They are hyping up issue 100 to be something big here. But we're going to have to put that conversation on the back burner because we're not done yet. We have one more comic here. And, you know, we've been dealing with some heavy stuff here. This comic, we're going to end off on a much more lighter note. Because this, folks, is the Chaotix 30th Anniversary Special. This is a major deviation from all the previous anniversary specials on top of that, too. Because this is the first special that's not set in the classic canon. This is a modern set story. And it's the first one that's not written by Ian Flynn. This is written by our beautiful boy, Daniel Barnes.
Alright. I'm gonna say it right now. There's some shit in here which is 10 out of 10 good writing. 10 out of 10 good writing. And there's a section here which, I can't lie, made me laugh pretty hard. I really enjoyed my time with this. I thought it was super fun.
I will say, though, I think it's better if I talked about this before. Right after the Knuckles special came out, Ian did kind of hint that the Chaotix special would be classic set, because he did do the hashtag knowing smile when someone asked if we'd ever see classic Chaotix. So maybe that was the original idea, and then Sega turned it down for one reason or another, and then he just handed off the duty to Daniel Barnes because he didn't want to write it. I don't know. I can't go that far. But the fact of the matter is that he said we were going to see classic Chaotix, and this is not a classic Chaotix story. That's it.
I'm glad it's not classic, because this is way better than that.
I kind of do agree. Now, here's another interesting thing about this comic, is that the anniversary in question here is the anniversary of the Chaotix first big case they ever solved. And what they're doing here is that Vector, Espio, and Charmy are sort of taking the story on and presenting it in their own way and taking their own spin on things. So much so that they actually have a different artist for each story being told from their unique perspectives. So the main story, the one that's in reality, is drawn by Tracy Yardley, which, look, it's always a treat to see Tracy Yardley here, even more so that he's doing a Daniel Barnes story too.
I really like that he decided to come back. Maybe there's something that has changed with the situation for him to have him come back to Sonic. But I really would like to see him come back when able to, because I love his art so much. Also important to note is that Yardley did a lot of art for the Sonic Secret Lair for Magic the Gathering. The less we talk about Magic the Gathering, the better.
The fact remains is I was very happy to see his art. That's all I can say.
And it seems like, especially recently, he's been like really leaning into commissions. But maybe him, Sega, IDW have worked something out to maybe try and get him on more stuff and maybe found a way to get him in the mix, because he is a really good artist. I think Sega likes working with him. I think there's a general very positive sentiment about Yardley in the community, and I don't think anyone would disagree with that.
Right. And also, let's also stress out that Vector's perspective was drawn by Mauro Fonseca, and his art style is more like this noir type beat, black and white. It's very like Batman Noir, if you've ever read that.
It's actually referencing Sin City, which is a comic that is mostly presented in deep whites and strong blacks. So it's very reminiscent of Sin City. We're not going to talk about the third one until we get to it, because I think we are going to start a dialogue.
Yeah. So I won't even talk about Espio. I'm just going to talk about talk about Vector's right there, because let's just get started. What are we doing? Let's just get started. The Mythsonian Museum, a university filled with world-class relics, as we see Amy and Sonic on a little museum date, and Amy is the one leading him along, showing him a salvaged totem pole from West Side Island. And look, this is a kind of comic where you really need to pay attention to the art, because there's a lot of fun details that you can pick up on. In this and another page, there's like a whole bunch of artifacts showing the symbol of the Babylonians, an owl tile from South Island, and a symbol of the ancients from Starfall Islands.
Me when Tracy Yardley has to insert the Babylon rogues into everything. Look, man, That's my goat. There is nobody who rides harder for Jet the Hawk than this motherfucker.
She says this totem was carved from an ancient civilization that disappeared mysteriously long ago, but not as long as the echidnas. Sonic comments how the last time he saw those, they were shooting arrows at me. Never really got a good look up close. Pretty cool, Amy. I didn't know you knew so much about this ancient history stuff. And she's like, oh, it's no big deal. I'm a girl of many talents after all. As we see her like shift into a more like devious look. And she's just like, oh, he has no idea I spent all night researching the exhibits and we can clear the whole place in a day at this rate. Operation Super Special Museum Blitz is going off without a hitch. Damn, girl. All right.
All right, homie. Listen, okay? I respect it. I respect the commitment to the game. And then Vector pulls up.
Just be like, hey, guys, what you doing? I didn't expect you to be the museum-going type. Hey, I can be cultured. I can appreciate artsy-fartsy stuff sometimes. Well, if you say so. And Sonic asks where the rest of the boys are, and Vector says we're reminiscing or some such. About what? Sonic asks, as Amy is getting impatient as this was not planned for.
This wasn't in the schedule!
Vector says that this was actually where the Chaotix solved one of their first big cases, and Sonic asks for more, to Amy's shock. But Vector, despite it being a long story, decides to indulge, despite Amy's attitude. And then our boy begins to monologue. Times were tough back then. They say every dog has his day, but for a mutt like me, most days bit back. You're a crocodile. Shush, I'm getting in the mood. Back in those days, business was slow, leads were dry, and morale was shot. I was running on fumes, chaos cola, and regret. We needed a breakthrough. And then, the call came. Vector got a call from a girl named Magani, a very nervous girl, kept dropping the phone when she was begging for their help. I could sympathize. The desperation was mutual. Her boss was Professor Valdas, a big society bigwig with more clout than humility, as he speaks over the PA system telling undergrads not to use the marble statues as coat racks or take selfies in front of them. The Chaotix met Valdas in his office, Vector calling him a bitter, condescending old fossil. He belonged in that museum. Valdas sized them up, and he was skeptical, and who could have blamed him? A little kid, a ninja-looking guy, and a would-be gumshoe who was still green, so to speak. They were hungry, ambitious, and ready to make a name for ourselves. Valdas gives Charmy a card, asking what they make of this. As he first looks at it intensely, smells it, chews on it. It's a card! Charmy was in particularly rare form that day. Vector takes it, says that it's a calling card of a phantom thief named Enigma. Espio says that they are also known as the Ghosts of the Black Sands. They've never been caught. Valdas thinks this card must mean his museum is the next target. So, what specifically do you think they could be targeting? Well, that's why you were hired. I left the task of hiring detectives to my assistant Magani, and to be frank, I find her choice rather dubious. Vector clenches his fist, determined to prove him on. The Chaotix are on the case. As they leave, Charmy ends up tripping over a presumably rare vase, breaking on the ground. Leave. Yes, sir. And then, that's where the story cuts off. As in the present, Vector says there's nothing more dangerous than a hungry sleuth out to prove himself with his back against the wall. But during the story, Sonic and Amy end up ditching Vector, leaving cartoon outlines of themselves.
This is the power of Orofar. I can't even say that.
They then move to a Chunan-themed exhibit, Amy showing Sonic a suit of armor that once belonged to one of the Eastern Mountain Lords, ancient warlords that ruled over the territories with an iron fist. Daniel Barnes, this better not be a fucking Archie Sonic reference. I swear to God, man. I swear to fucking God.
Dude, me when the Iron Queen and Monkey Kong moment. Okay, we can laugh and we could the bit.
Yeah, I mean that's not the worst thing they could have called out. It's not the worst. Eventually, many villages rose up and overthrew them using the art of ninjutsu. Their secret weapon were these giant armor-piercing stars called shurikens. As Espio appears from behind her from his invisibility, saying it's pronounced shuriken, Amy. She's spooked and instantly tries to crush him with her hammer, Espio quickly dodging, but she does end up cracking the floor. Embarrassed, she almost hit Espio as Vector finds the gang here. And he tells Espio this wouldn't be the first time he got his butt kicked in this exhibit. Through hardship, one's skills are honed. An unkicked butt is an inexperienced mind. Yeah, sure. Okay, whatever you say, man. Sonic asks what they're talking about, as Espio begins to talk about his side of the story of their first big case, again to Amy's chagrin.
No, bro, you can't do this to me. I just want to be with him.
Now, Espio's art was done by Ryan Jampol. If you don't remember, he is the main artist of Archie Mega Man, which I guess working with Ian for the new stuff for Udon got them back together, and Ian gave him an in.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And his art style is very, the art style for Espio's story is very much like Vector's, but it's more with like a light, purplish, almost pinkish hue pastel type thing.
Yeah, I like the way it looks. It's really pretty.
So, I warn you, Espio begins, this tale is not for the faint of heart. The path of a ninja never is. And his flashback begins as he's meditating. While Charmy and Vector are sleeping and rocking out, the night was as pitch as black. He and the comrades who were come out to stake out a master thief. Our focus steely, our vigilance without equal. Espio broke to do an hourly patrol. The Smithsonian slept, nestled in a blanket of darkness. Its glass cases shimmered like koi ponds in the pale moonlight. Then he hears footsteps following into the Chinon exhibit. He scans the room, nothing. But to a true ninja, sight is a distraction. Closes his eyes, listening, and throws a shuriken intercepted by Enigma. Espio arms himself with a kunai, Enigma with two koseps, which are like two Egyptian hook swords. Yeah.
Also, rare instance here of Espio actually using his fucking kunai properly, bro.
Maybe I think he learned by watching a little too much Naruto.
Look, man, all I'm saying is let this guy use his kunai more.
Yeah. On equal ground, Espio looks like he makes contact, but the figure disappears, noticing Enigma behind him and makes an escape with a substitute being hit in place. They break the wood in half. Espio now comes in from behind, kunai at each other's throats, but then they throw it, barely missing Espio, but hits the stand behind him, throwing off the glass flower relic behind him. And he catches it, realizing that this is the fabled Crystal Lotus of Cascade City, prized the world over for its purity and raw beauty. What was it doing here? And with the distraction, his enemy had escaped. In the present, Espio and Vector agree with the Lotus being here. The case was blown wide open. As they see again, Sonic and Amy ditch them. This time, their outline's drawn in their SA1 poses.
Yeah, okay, I like this one a lot. Good.
Sonic and Amy make their way to the ancient Apodos exhibit. Amy double-checking to see if the Chaotix follow them there. And there are a lot of cool details on this page, like a Spartan helmet, a statue of Pan. And then Amy brings Sonic to a vase, which depicts Hercules' 12 labors, which Zeus is as a minotaur, which is very interesting, especially if you know Greek, ancient Greek stories and all that. And I'm not gonna lie, I see this vase, right? Hercules in this vase is depicted as Sonic.
Yes, bro. Yes. And there will never be a third storybook game. Ever. Because, I don't know, man.
Well,
but yeah, I mean, this...
Well, yeah, this is like an esoteric reference to that. If you guys don't know, for the young ones in chat, sit down, let me tell you a little story. Sonic and the Black Knight had just come out. It was, mixed reviews, sure, but generally nowadays the community has turned around on it and does appreciate it for what it is, especially its story. But back then, it was well received. Sega Facebook page ran a poll saying, hey, if you were to make a third storybook game, what setting would you want it to be in? And it gave a whole bunch of different options, but the winning one was Greek myths. And the years went on, and nothing really came of it. It kind of turned into this fandom myth of there being a third storybook game that was supposed to be about Greek myths, but was just internally canceled and never announced. But then, somebody on the social media team, which I don't remember if it was Aaron Weber or Katie, either one of them, said the poll was never to be taken seriously. It was just for community engagement. Maybe the idea was pitched to Sega, but either way, nothing came of it.
Yeah, and I guess this is an internal, cute little reference related to it, My assumption is that, yeah, this probably got shot down fairly quickly after the reception and massive change in structure going on at Sega at the time.
That being said, though, I think the community is ready for a third storybook game, especially if it is about Greek myths.
Yeah, it's cute.
Anyway, Charmy was hiding in that vase as Amy hits a Charlie Brown scream with her annoyed that she's going to tell his anniversary story too. What? No, what do you mean? What anniversary? As Amy just kind of hits a Monster Mash pose in shock. They really are having fun with the art here, man.
Yeah, I know. The art is great. It's so expressive.
Vector and Espio follow behind, saying the case they solved with the Vulture guy, Buzzbrain. Amy again wondering where they came from. And Charmy says, yeah, that guy was funny. What happened was, but Sonic stops him and goes to Amy. Look, Amy, let's just hear Charmy's story. I think they're almost done. Then we can finish looking around the museum, I promise. And Amy gets a little relieved, and Charmy tells his side of the story. Now, Charmy's art here was done by Minho Kim, and this is very, very cutesy kind of thing, because Minho Kim posted on his Twitter, like, his development of it. Originally, he pitched it as, like, it was supposed to be, like, a variant of, like, the line art Sonic the Hedgehog type thing. And then he gave another alternate thing, which would have been inspired by Crayon Shinchan. And the final result here...
Oh my god, bro, that would have been so heat. I would have been losing my mind.
and look, the references are on his Twitter, so you can see it does look really good. It does look right out of Shinchan. But the final result that you see here is kind of like a blend of those two, as you can tell.
It is absolutely fucking hysterical. And the best part is that the narration is done entirely through Charmy's perspective. Which means the story is told in the craziest way possible. So, I would like to go through this segment because I think it's fucking great. So what had happened was, I was really sleepy because I stayed up past my bedtime the night before. SPO was all grumpy because he had lost to the bad guy we were trying to catch. Inaccurate. What is the meaning of this? I am in the middle of my morning announcements. How dare you? I am very old and important. You are the one who dares. Oh my god. I know a lot about this shiny thing because I travel a lot and I study ninja things. It is from Casserole City. It's Cascade City. I met the people of Casserole City during my ninja traveling, and this shiny thing is very special to them. They would never give it to your boring old museum. They said a bad guy stole it. Evil must be destroyed. It was donated anonymously. Anonymously. That is very shocking to me. I am pretending to have no idea about it. I am old.
I'm old.
This shit fried me, by the way. Hey, the jig is up, old man. Forget about it. Not what I said. That's actually... I'm not kidding you. That's the text box. It's incredible. After SVO found this shiny thing last night, we looked up a bunch of other boring stuff you got here, and a bunch of different people say bad guys took up. Your stupid museum was made off of stealing stuff from good people. I am very loud and have a big mouth.
Hey!
Oh my god, man. Dude, this shit is so... This is gas. This is actual gas. I love stuff like this. It's so good. And then I saw a cool gizmo sitting on the Vulture guy's desk. Who cares if my museum has a bunch of stolen stuff of it? I am rich and important, so I can do whatever I want. Blah, blah, blah. If the people I stole this stuff from want to see it again, they can look at it here in my boring old museum. It's better if I keep their stolen stuff anyways. Yada, yada, yada. I'm taking care of it way better than they were. Old. The best part is that because I am rich and important, I will get away with it. Everyone's gonna believe me. Nobody will believe you.
You know, I didn't expect Charmy to be woke about this, but good for him.
Yeah, so Charmy pressed the button, the big button, and as a result, you know, it just got broadcast to the whole museum. And everyone was fucking pissed at him. Yeah.
Yeah, they literally chase him out of the museum.
This is a 10 out of 10 segment. This is a huge highlight for me. I laughed really hard reading this.
Yeah, Charmy hit the live button during the rant, and Valdez, like, hit the Anel face, and per Charmy, said a bunch of bad words Vector says I'm not allowed to repeat. And then everyone laughs. Great story. Vector says, if you think that's wild, let me tell you about, as Amy looks at her with this fucking intense aura, which I can only describe as, like, it's a redraw of Amy of the Sonic CD intro.
No, it is. Yeah. It's so perfect. It's so perfect, bro. She hit him with the...
Message received, and Vector leaves the two of them alone. As they chatter from above, we see Enigma, who, by the way, we failed to mention that she's a jackal, so that makes some people think she may have some connection to Infinite, which is, you know, considering what we talked about earlier, you know, you never know, right? Who's to say?
I don't know.
So then they flash back to Valis being chased out of his museum. And for the record, this is done in Tracy Yardley's art. So we're supposed to take this as like the real versions of events. As we see Megani heading up back inside to the Crystal Lotus, moments away for taking it for herself. Until she's found by Vector. Just wanted to check in with her. How you holding up, kid? How am I... What? Pretty wild to start the morning. Not every day your boss gets busted for being a thief and dirtbag, right? Just making sure you're good here. She's fine, just, when I hired you guys, I thought you'd be helping Valdez, not getting him arrested. Yeah, sorry about that. Guess you'll have to look for a new job. Yeah, I guess so. Vector heads out, saying to make it up, we'll do you a job on the house. Just hit me up. I appreciate that. And then Magani breathes, composure enough to take a sigh of relief until Vector hits us with the just one more thing.
Flings the card, showing that it is indeed the Enigma card, locks eyes and says, don't forget your card. Okay, this is the kind of stuff that makes Vector fucking cool. The fact that he figured it out, said nothing, and then just slinged it back to her to say, we know. We figured it out. It's not too hard. So, godlike, actual aura farmer moment from my boy. All right, look, man, I love when characters are comic relief, but when comic relief characters get to be fucking cool like this, ooh, and the Yardley art just makes it even better.
Yeah, Daniel Barnes said on Twitter that his preferred character interpretation of the Chaotix as a whole is that, yeah, they are goofy, but they are actually legitimately good detectives. So it's moments like this where he wanted to spotlight that.
And I like the fact that, even if they are big clowns and they get into a lot of trouble, ultimately they are still solving the case. And they are doing it in a way that feels very like them. And I love that shit. It's awesome.
She smirks through her glasses, said that Valdez insisted she hire detectives to thwart me, so I hired them to shut him up. I thought they'd be patsies, bumbling morons that would trip all over themselves while she made off with the Lotus, but I underestimated them. She runs off as Vector gets a little inkling, turns around, and no one overlooking them, a confident smirk on his face. So Enigma stands over the roof. Today was the anniversary of the first time she was bested. All those years of flawless heights were so dull. Feels good to finally have some worthy opponents. Happy anniversary, detectives. Until next time. And the final scene, we see Sonic, Amy, and the Chaotix appreciating a wing of the museum with a lot of references to Fleetway Sonic.
Man, very ironic.
Yeah.
Very, very, very ironic.
Yeah, to call some things out there. So we see paintings of the circuitry with the Dracon armor. Another side has the paintings of Mobians drawn by Mick Mahan. Another one of the artifacts in the back is the Ring of Eternity. And another one, more so in the front, is Johnny Lightfoot, the guy with the little glasses.
Ha ha.
So that's what happened to him. He got isekai into the main canon. Good ending.
It's old Johnny Lightfoot. Well, I can't say anything else nice about this because I feel like I've already said everything I has to say. If you're gonna do a 30th anniversary special for the Chaotix, it's gotta be fun and it's gotta have a detective angle, and I think they succeeded on all fronts. The Sin City callback was great. The fucking Charmy section was so good. SES section was really cool too. Just good stuff all around. I really enjoyed my time with these set of comics. But
well, before we end, there is actually one more thing to talk about there on that same page. There she is. There's our girl. I miss her. I miss her, chat. Yeah, that's Fleetway Sally near the corner, in the corner there.
Another 5 years of copium. Another 5 years.
The Alberto century of humiliation stands strong. But it is fun to see her because it's she's actually a mishmash of her various design. She has the colors of the Fleetway design. She actually has the haircut of her pre-boot design and the outfit of her reboot design. It's all thrown together. And of course, it couldn't have been done by anyone else other than Tracy Yardley. And with that being said, there actually is something more to talk about in that regard because Tracy Yardley on his Blue Sky posted the breakdowns and the pre-sketches of all the art that he did for the comic. And let me see if there's the one thing in particular I wanted to talk about here because so he shared a bunch of different breakdowns of the art style, of the art, including things that he didn't get through. The sketched version of this final page actually had a lot more references to a bunch of different things originally. The one that was the Ring of Eternity actually originally was Short Fuse's helmet. That's what it was originally for. The panel where Vector is inspecting originally are the Chaos Emeralds from AOSTH. And where Sonic and Amy are looking at the Warhammer that looks like Amy's hammer originally was Caliburn.
Oh, I guess they I guess it would make sense why he's pointing at it then, because he's like, hey,
look at that. I wasn't lying that one time.
It was not a bit. It was not a bit, Amy. I swear.
And also, one thing I do want to point out, way further in the back in the final piece of the art, there's nothing there, but in the sketch art, Tracy Yardley drew the Angel Maria statue from Mobius 25 years later.
Tracy, bro, why are you trying not to laugh, bro? That's disrespectful as shit.
And to be fair, he did change it before Sega commented on it. But honestly, man, I think you should have kept it in just to see if they would say something.
I feel like they would have looked at it and hit him with the, "Are you sure, man?" And he would have just been like, "Look, man, it would be really funny.
It'd be funny. It'd be really funny.
I did it for the love of the game."
Yeah.
Well, unless we have anything else to say, I don't think we do, right? No.
Yeah, that is the end of the comic. That's the end of everything we got for this episode. And what a ride this episode was. It was a lot of setup, a lot of having to do some cleanup and setting up for the next comic and the next story moving forward, especially on the path to issue 100. But I think it was great to end with the Chaotix special because we needed that little sense of brevity, you know?
Yeah. I also think it's really important to kind of, cap it off by saying that we are, once again, very close to being caught up. We are 3 issues behind now. So, what do we do? Because 2 issues in an episode isn't really appropriate, and we kind of didn't really like the format we did last time, where we do monthly reviews of comics.
Yes, so here's the plan, guys. We do have one more full episode. It's not going to be like this, but it's going to be a fuller episode planned because we got one big thing we still need to cover. The DC crossover.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the DC crossover. I liked it a lot, though. It was really good. You'll get to hear more about it when we actually go through it. But yes, the DC crossover was a thing, and we are going to be covering that next time alongside 81, 82, and maybe 83 by the time it comes out.
Well, here's what I was thinking. I was thinking that the DC comic is its own episode, and then those 3 issues will be its own episode as we talk about what we do next and what the plans are for the future, because I think that way we could fill in a full episode.
Sure, works for me.
All right, so that's the plan, guys. Everyone, patreon.com/SonicSpeed. Early episodes, we're reacting to Sonic X. All free trials across all 3 of our tiers. $2 a month, you get the episodes early when they're ready, and you get our bonus show where we've been reacting to Sonic X. $5 is our pre/post show. We've been talking a lot, man. We have a lot of thoughts about the game industry and where things are, and oh my god, man, the Game Awards was such a train wreck. Not even because there was no Sonic that we were kind of expecting. It just was not a good show in general.
We just I'm gonna keep it so fucking real with you, dog. I could not care fucking less if Sonic is there at this point. I really don't give a fuck. I just think it's insane that we had what can only be described as a negative entertainment show minus like 1 or 2 things, you know?
Yeah. He's Mega Man's back. That's cool though. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, at least he's back, man. At least he's back.
And hey, KOTOR 3 kind of happening. That's also pretty cool.
Yes, that is pretty cool. But 5-year-long development cycle that is optimistic. Man, modern game industry, we got to kill him.
Well, either way, guys, those are the plans, and we will see you next time for a full singular breakdown of the DC Sonic crossover. You're not going to want to miss it, guys, because I'm not going to lie, I think that truly is the best of the Sonic comics that it has ever been. And I do not mean that lightly.
Okay.